Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Thursday morning to you all. I hope you guys are doing well out there, having a fantastic start to your morning, and a great week out there so far. I got you an update on what's going to happen weather-wise for your Thursday. We'll talk about what's going on out there this morning, how some of this rain can continue to move east. We can only hope that it will move as east as possible, just because there's areas like Mississippi, even Alabama, even the entire southeast. It's getting really dry, but it's looking like most of this rain from this upper trough and the energy associated with it is going to fizzle out. We'll talk about who's seeing some beneficial rain this morning and who could see more later throughout the day. We'll give you an update on the tropics. As you can tell right in the middle of your screen, you got Philippe. Philippe is already heading north. Will begin to really affect Bermuda over the next 24 hours. Well, inside the next 24 hours, and then eventually head up towards Maine, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island, all these areas in Canada, and bring impacts for you folks. So we'll give you some updated information on that for the second half of the video. We'll get you all covered in this video. We have a big time cold front that's now making its way into the northern portion of the lower 48 also. We'll speak on that briefly and kind of the current conditions that this trough is really bringing right now. We got very detailed on many things in last night's video. Not a whole lot's changed from that, so check that out if you want to. We'll talk about the drought, this cold front, all those things. So with that being said, if you folks have not subscribed, certainly consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. Thank you for the people who continue to tune in regardless if it's active in your area or not. Things have really slowed down. It's been a nice break for me personally, but I can already feel the urge to want to enter some more active periods. Not active weather as far as life-threatening weather, but I'm really excited about this winter, especially for us in the southeast and the mid-Atlantic with this El Nino that is shaping up that could really drive some interesting weather this winter. So I'm just getting antsy for that kind of stuff, but trying to at the same time enjoy the slower times, enjoy fall and everything that it brings with it, which is my favorite time of the year. If you guys got anything that I can pray about or pray over, as always, please put those in the comments below so I can pray over it and so others can do so too. Let's get rolling. My clicker is not working this morning, so we're not going to bother with it. We really don't need it because we can see everything on the screen pretty well. We got Philippe right here, right in the middle of your screen. Philippe looks better this morning than he did in yesterday evening's video when we were talking about him popping off some pretty intense convection, but still not really strengthening much. If it does strengthen, it won't strengthen a whole lot, maybe another 5, 10, maybe 15 miles per hour. But this is not expected to become a hurricane or anything as it continues to move north. Bermuda is right in the path. You guys will see some tropical storm force conditions starting, as early as maybe later today into tonight. But I'm not expecting any type of major impacts or anything like that. If you look right here in the lower 48 in the southern section of the country, and also getting all the way up into the Great Lakes region, riding over the Mississippi Valley, we do have some showers. We have some storms down to Texas, and we'll actually zoom in on that here in 1 second. But outside of that, as far as what's going on, we can see the push out the northwest, the southeast up here. If you look at all these clouds and this moisture, this is our big trough coming in, and this trough will weaken and the energy associated with it. But let's talk about this rain, some beneficial rain. We do have some severe weather, though, unfortunately, for areas of south central Texas down here. And then we have a somewhat weakening line of storms that will eventually make it all the way to the Texas coastline. But a lot of beneficial rain falling in areas of Louisiana. The further this rain makes it east, the better. But we're expecting this shield of rain to really start to fall apart here in the next several hours, unfortunately. But hopefully for us folks in Mississippi, even Alabama, we can get some beneficial rain. Even if it's just 1/20th of an inch of rain, we will take it. Memphis getting some good rain this morning as we got some light to moderate rain falling in these areas. That's pretty funny. You get a little glitch right here where it looks like it's snowing in Missouri, but it's absolutely not snowing in Missouri. But you ride on up a little bit more of some heavy rain action behind this main shield falling in areas of central Missouri and then southeast Kansas. And then we got some rains falling up in Illinois, northern Indiana, and then a big shield of rain slashing through basically the entire state of Michigan. There's a little weird glitch again over the Great Lakes. But anyways, that's what's going on right now. Everybody else, pretty quiet. The good news today, severe weather won't really be a topic like it has been over the last couple of days. We've had 2 enhanced risk in a row with just a weakening trough. This is a weakening system in general. The energy with it's weakening. So we're not going to have a lot of ingredients for severe weather, even though this trough is somewhat in place. The main trough is coming in, but it's going to mainly be a dry system unless you're like up in Canada, maybe the Northeast here in the coming days. But just a general risk of thunderstorms in the light green area. No big threat of severe weather today. And the same thing with flash flooding. We've had issues with flooding overnight, but throughout the rest of the day, over the next 24 hours, flooding risk will not be as concerning, but do have a marginal risk of, which is at least a 5% risk of flash flood guidance being met. Hopefully we can get some rains without the flooding into Mississippi, which I don't think we have to worry about flooding into Mississippi. I really don't. But check this out. The only reason I'm showing you this is winter is coming, guys. You see the light blue on your screen. That is freeze watches. So you got a freeze watch if you're in this light blue county. Just about the entire state of South Dakota. Pretty much the same thing with Nebraska, except maybe the southeast portion of the state. But areas of northern and northwest Kansas, we have the freeze coming. Our first freeze potentially is coming. If you don't hit the freezing mark, you'll get into the mid to low 30s. But here it comes. First sub-freezing temperatures of the fall season coming for areas of the northern lower 48. So we continue to move here. We talk about the Southeast. One thing I'll mention about the Southeast, and I've said it a few times, over the last 2.5 weeks, the Southeast, really the Carolinas, Virginia, even down to Georgia, have really, basically if you're east of the Appalachian Mountains, you have really been saved from this late September, early October heat wave. We've had a return flow, which means some dry, cooler air kind of funnels in from the Northeast and kind of prevents us from getting really hot during the day, and it allows our temperatures, because we have some drier air entrenched east of the mountains, to really dip down. In fact, this morning here in my neck of the woods, it's been our coolest morning of the season, which really still isn't that cool. We're actually behind as far as our first sub 50 degree morning, but of course that's coming for most of the Southeast here in the coming days with this cold front. But it's dropped down to 55 degrees in my house in Lexington, South Carolina, and I mean, this is nice air, nice fall air. I mean, it's been cool, some cool mornings, even in the Carolinas, but this is nothing compared to what's coming. But it's funny, you know, you work west of the Alps, and you only have temperatures like just dip down to the 60s. Okay, so we've definitely been lucky here along and east of the Alps for sure, as far as kind of staying away from that super warm air. But speaking on what can happen today, we will watch this rain. We will really hope that the HRRR model was wrong and some of this rain holds together a lot more than what the HRRR model is showing. But some rain will continue to make its way into Mississippi throughout the morning. Could have some storms in southern areas of Louisiana later today. And then we will hope that some of these showers and maybe heavy rain, maybe even some rumbles of thunder, some storms, could rejuvenate, refire up, maybe fly into northern Mississippi. We really need it down here in southwest Mississippi. And hopefully we can get some nice steady rain, some kind of spurts of heavy rain down here near Jackson and areas of central and southern Mississippi. Some showers will make their way through Alabama, most of Tennessee throughout the late evening hours, and we will see if these can hold together as they make their way through Georgia into the wee hours of the morning. And we're waking up tomorrow morning, and I think we will have some showers around, even into South Carolina, definitely in Alabama, and probably just an area of more organized showers. Maybe some moderate to heavy rain making its way through like the Cumberland Plateau in Tennessee and eastern Kentucky. So we'll see what happens. We will hope that this rain holds together as long as possible, because the further it makes its way east, the better, because we're dealing with some drought conditions for sure. The Northeast, pretty quiet. Some rain will move into Ohio from the west to the east. As far as storms, I mean, you might hear a rumble of thunder, but nothing severe, I don't think. But rain will really take over most of the state of Ohio by the time you get into late afternoon into the evening hours. And by the time you're at around 9 or 10 p.m. in Ohio, most of the state is seeing some light to moderate rain at least. These showers and storms could make their way into an extreme western areas of PA, even western West Virginia, just in the form of probably some moderate to heavy rain. and will eventually try to make its way into extreme western New York State as we're getting into the wee hours of the morning, waking up for our Friday morning. But like I said, this is a weakening system, so the moisture begins to kind of dwindle away. But we could have a little bit of a southerly flow ahead of this weakening trough that could allow for some downpours that we could wake up to, maybe in northern New Jersey, southern areas of New York State, maybe even eastern PA. We'll see. But outside of that, not a super active day. South central U.S., much quieter day today. The rest of this energy will trail off into the northwest Gulf of Mexico, head off the coastline of Texas. We could be left over with still some energy down here in southern Texas, as we can still have some storms down here. Some storms are possible in northern Louisiana later today. We've already spoke mostly on that already. But things really clear out this evening. Not a whole lot. Hopefully you guys got beneficial rain without the flooding. Not sure what the flooding situation has been like in Texas overnight. You guys will have to let me know. But we'll have some showers that begin to move in with the associated strong trough that's moving in. Now this is showers associated with the trough moving in. And big time cold front coming in. We might wake up to some showers in northern areas and central areas of Kansas tomorrow. Now here comes the cold front with the associated energy with it. It's a strengthening trough, which means you do have energy associated with it. Energy meaning showers, rain, things like that. All right, so we take it into this afternoon. Look at these convective showers moving in. I mean, I would bet some of these are going to produce some small hail in eastern areas of South Dakota, northern Minnesota. Okay, maybe even into eventually northwest Wisconsin, the UP of Michigan. A lot of cold air aloft moving in with this trough moving in, okay? And then as we're getting into this evening, look at some of the blue coming up on your map into the overnight hours into northern North Dakota. I really think this has a chance to mix with some snow up here. Are we going to get accumulation? I mean, I doubt it. I wouldn't be surprised we get a dusting on some car surfaces. But watch out for some backside cold air coming in behind this cold front, with still some moisture left over, and northern to central North Dakota, maybe even making it all the way into maybe northern to northeast South Dakota. Some snow could mix with some of this rain. And then we're waking up tomorrow morning with some cool showers. I mean, most of the rain that falls today is going to be in the 40s and 50s in northern Minnesota. But waking up to some chilly showers, it's going to feel like fall when you wake up tomorrow morning for sure in the Great Lakes region and the upper Midwest. So some of these showers, will be falling in some pretty chilly conditions. You'll definitely need a jacket for sure, but that's what's going on. If you look at the temperatures, it's already, nice and pleasant out there. Nothing too abnormal at all for early October standards for this area of the country, but it's really what comes in behind this. Warms up pretty nicely into the Midwest, but it's the cool air that funnels in behind us. This is getting into the late evening, overnight hours. And then we're waking up with even more widespread chillier conditions, and especially starting to move into the Dakotas. Minnesota, you're starting to get sub 40 degree temperatures showing up. And then as we're getting into tomorrow morning, temperatures will struggle to get out the 40s for this entire area, except obviously down here. But cold front moving in. Western U.S., ridge is starting to move into place. Quieter weather is settling in response. So not really anything to talk about for you folks out west. Some scattered showers at the southwest base of this trough in Wyoming is possible, but outside of that, you're warming back up, and you're pretty much moistureless out here for now. Temperatures, your days are numbered, literally, really, really numbered for warmer than average temperatures in the eastern U.S., but the hottest spot will probably be southern Alabama, southern Mississippi, where you might reach 90 degrees. Western areas of Florida, same kind of deal. But this cold front's coming, a little bit of last second warming ahead of this big cold front moving in. So you might have one more day into the upper 70s and 80s from Oklahoma, the Panhandle of Texas, through areas of southeast Kansas, all the way up through Illinois. And maybe one last day with temperatures in the 70s all the way up into the UP. But, it's coming. This little cool spot right here is just due to clouds and rain associated with the trough already in place. Western U.S., it's warming back up. Ridge is building into place. You're starting to get to more average to above average temperatures. Still chilly conditions in the northern high plains, but still, nothing compared to what you've seen over the last several days. But definitely getting back to above average temperatures somewhat in the extreme western U.S. for sure. So that's what's going on today. Let's talk about Philippe. Philippe, like I mentioned, is it looks like a better tropical storm this morning, but still just very weak, very disorganized, and it's got a lot of moisture on the northern end of this, and he's doing all right out there for a weak tropical storm. We don't expect much strengthening from this. Philippe, 40-mile-per-hour tropical storm, 1,004 millibar central pressure, moving north now at 14 miles per hour, so it's already beginning to pick up speed. You look at the latest cone, expected to remain a tropical storm all the way to about tomorrow night, where it will really fully begin to lose its tropical characteristics, will become post-tropical, and then continue to move north-northwest, and then eventually hook due northwest. The western areas of Nova Scotia still in the cone, but this is expected to make landfall somewhere in the down east areas of Maine. Maybe New Brunswick could move 100 miles one way or the other, but the impacts will be outside of exactly where it makes landfall. Of course, we know that. If you don't, now you do. But this is the latest cone for Philippe. The latest model run from the GFS with this takes Philippe and is really confused at the actual low pressure. We talked about that already. It's like trying to figure out where it wants to become the dominant low pressure, but let's ignore that for now. This is what it could look like Saturday afternoon. We got a shield of rain associated with this trough that's starting to become negatively tilted. It's going to bring all this cooler air. So this rain right here, kind of over New York State, areas of Vermont, it's really associated with this trough moving in, with a short wave associated with it. This is the actual Philippe, okay, and the moisture associated with it. And this brings a big slug of moisture to the Bay of Fundy, right into the St. John region. What is that? Yarmouth and the west coast of Nova Scotia brings a slug of moisture into this region, and delivers a couple inches of rain. I know you measure rain different in Canada, but it's trying to figure out who gets the most rain will be difficult. I don't think anybody's going to see 10 to 15 inches of rain or anything from this. Philippe's going to be moving pretty fast through this area as it's really being picked up and steered by this big upper level low up here in areas of Canada and the Northeast. So nothing's really slowing this down. It's going to find an avenue and then really hook northwest and fly through areas of Maine and then areas of Atlantic Canada. So this is what it could look like overnight Saturday night. Most of the heaviest moisture is over New Brunswick. A slug of moisture right here moving into western Nova Scotia though also. And then this moves on through. And then it gets wrapped into a lot of cold air. And on the backside, cold side of this system in Canada, some snow could fall. And models continue to show this. European, same deal, brings impacts to Bermuda. You guys are already probably seeing gusty winds, but really most of the rain will begin to take over throughout the day, throughout the overnight hours. But by the time you move into Friday evening, you could be still dealing with some leftover moisture. But I think by the time we fully get into our Saturday, things will clear out for Bermuda. But moisture begins to be on the increase for Maine, Nova Scotia, and the same thing, guys. Now, the European makes actual landfall of this system right into Nova Scotia. It makes a landfall as a 982 millibar storm. It's lost its tropical characteristics, but makes landfall sometime late night, Saturday night into the wee hours of the morning Sunday. This will fly through quickly, and then by the time we're into our Sunday evening, it's drying out, a cooler air moving in. So if you look at the wind gusts, this is the blend of all models for Maine. I mean, the down east areas of Maine, you guys could see a 30 to 40, 45 mile per hour wind gust, but I really think the worst conditions is going to be on the right side of the system, the east side of the system, which isn't good news for our folks in Canada. And you can see it well here. You see this area in yellow or orange, whatever color you consider this. I'm going to say yellow. I'm going to say orange. That indicates that most of the tropical storm force conditions are on the right side, the east side of the system. So what does that tell us? If this continues to be the trend, this will bring heavier conditions for Bermuda if the actual center of low pressure moves west of Bermuda. And then it's going to bring more stronger winds into Nova Scotia, New Brunswick. Now, how strong will these winds be? Well, I know you guys measure things in kilometers per hour, but we'll look at miles per hour first just to get a gauge if it's tropical storm force or hurricane force winds for me, because I do miles per hour here in America. But I mean, this is what the GFS is showing. Widespread 50 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts are possible across New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island. I think Newfoundland, you guys will be far enough east where you guys won't get big time impacts. But this is going to bring a period, relatively short, but a period of tropical storm force conditions right over this area of Canada. And we're going to have winds. I'm going to love to hear feedback from you guys. How you're going to compare this system with Lee. I want to see which one will be worse. Lee kind of moved in a little bit slower. I think this is going to be moving a lot faster. But this is definitely going to pack a quick punch for you folks. Now, is it going to be comparable just to a nor'easter? Not sure. But this is definitely going to pack a quick punch. You're going to have some 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gust. Not sustained, but gust. And as far as converting this to kilometers per hour, this is what it looks like. So, Yarmouth might see a wind gust over 100 kilometers per hour. St. John over 90. And I really think the southern coastline of Nova Scotia is going to be in for a very windy weekend. That's for sure. So, as far as rainfall, Maine going for, 1 to 2 inches of rain. You don't need no more rain in Maine, but you're certainly going to see it, unfortunately. And we can only look at the GFS for Canada. And, going for GFS is going for 48 millimeters around St. John, 40 to 50 millimeters of rain. But you can see there's a big stout cutoff from western Nova Scotia to eastern Nova Scotia. So I think there'll be a big cutoff in the rain somewhere. So that's all I got, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all have an awesome day. I probably won't have a video tonight. And remember, I mentioned this in the community post. I have a wedding Saturday. So tomorrow morning will probably be my last video until Sunday morning, as I won't be able to make anything for Saturday. So for folks who rely on me weather-wise every single day, I do apologize, but I know you guys understand that life, happens. But that's all I got, guys. Y'all have a great day. Thank y'all for the support, even during the slow times. It means the world. I appreciate y'all, and I'll talk to you soon.